the silent judgment. They already misjudged you, not because you failed, not because you were wrong, but because you chose not to react. Think about that moment, the tension in the air. Someone challenges you, questions you, maybe even tries to diminish you in front of others. Every instinct around you screams for a response. Voices get louder, eyes turn toward you, waiting, expecting a reaction, and you remain still. You do not rush to defend yourself. You do not raise your tone. You do not try to prove your worth in the heat of the moment. You simply observe, you listen, you stay composed. And in that silence, something dangerous happens. They decide who you are. They label you weak, passive, slow. They assume that because you did not react, you had nothing to say. They convince themselves that your calm is emptiness, that your silence is a lack of intelligence, that your restraint is fear. But what if that exact moment, the one where they believed they understood you, is the moment they exposed their own ignorance? Most people cannot tolerate silence. It unsettles them. It forces them to face their own thoughts, their own lack of control. So they fill it with noise. They react, they interrupt, they defend themselves before they are even attacked. Not because they are strong, but because they are driven by impulse. And impulse is easy to control. The person who reacts reveals everything. Their triggers, their insecurities, their limits. They become predictable. And what is predictable can be manipulated. But you did something different. You held your ground without needing to be seen. You controlled your expression, your words, your timing. You refused to give away your state of mind to people who had not earned access to it. That is not weakness. That is discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 6, paragraph 30, that the best revenge is to not become like the one who wronged you. In that moment of silence, you are not retreating. You are refusing to descend to a level where emotion overrides reason. And that is where most people lose without even realizing it. Because the world has conditioned people to believe that power is loud, that strength must be displayed, that dominance is proven through immediate reaction. But this is an illusion built by those who have never learned to govern themselves. Real power does not rush. It does not panic. It does not need to announce itself. It waits. And while others expose themselves in a desperate attempt to be understood, the one who remains calm becomes something far more dangerous, unpredictable. There is a presence that comes with stillness, a kind of quiet authority that cannot be explained, only felt. People may not understand it at first. They may even misjudge it. But deep down, it unsettles them, because they sense something they cannot control. And here is what they do not realize. Your silence is not the absence of thought. It is the presence of control. Your calm is not a lack of awareness. It is heightened awareness. You are not disengaged. You are observing everything, every word, every tone, every intention. You are choosing your response instead of being owned by your reaction. And that changes everything. Because the moment you stop reacting impulsively, you step out of the game most people are trapped in. You are no longer playing by emotion. You are operating by decision. And that is where true power begins. What you are about to understand will challenge everything you have been taught about strength, respect, and control. Because staying calm is not what makes you look like a fool. It is what separates you from those who are. The most common mistake: confusing reaction with intelligence. Most people have been conditioned to believe that the fastest response is the strongest one. That the person who speaks first, louder, and with more intensity is the one in control. But this belief is not only wrong, it is dangerous. Because what looks like confidence is often nothing more than emotional leakage. Watch closely. The moment someone feels challenged, they rush to defend themselves. They interrupt. They raise their voice. They try to dominate the conversation. Not because they have clarity, but because they feel threatened. Their reaction is not a strategy. It is a reflex, and reflexes can be predicted. The modern world rewards visibility. It teaches people to express everything immediately, to react instantly, to never pause. But what it does not teach is that every immediate reaction reveals something. It exposes your emotional state, your insecurities, your limits of control. The one who reacts gives away power. Because the moment you react without thinking, you are no longer choosing your behavior. You are being controlled by the situation, by the words of someone else, by the pressure of the moment. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations Book 8, paragraph 47, that external events are not what disturb us, but our judgments about them. This means the problem is not what happens, it is how quickly and blindly we allow ourselves to respond. And most people respond too fast. They mistake speed for intelligence. They believe that having something to say immediately means they are sharp. But true intelligence is not measured by how quickly you respond. It is measured by how precisely you choose your response. There is a difference between reacting and responding. Reaction is automatic. It is emotional. It is driven by ego, by the need to defend, to prove, to be seen. Response is controlled. It is intentional. It is guided by clarity, by discipline, by awareness of consequences. And here is where the shift happens. When you stop reacting instantly, you create space. And in that space, you gain something most people never develop: control over yourself. That pause, even if it lasts only a few seconds, separates you from the majority. While others are exposing their emotions in real time, you are analyzing. While they are trying to win the moment, you are understanding the situation. And understanding is power. Because the one who understands what is happening and why it is happening can influence the outcome without being consumed by it. But the one who reacts becomes part of the chaos. This is why calm individuals are often misunderstood. Their silence is seen as a lack of intelligence, when in reality it is a refusal to participate in unnecessary noise. They are not slow, they are selective. They choose when to speak, how to speak, and if speaking is even necessary. And that choice is what makes them dangerous in the eyes of those who rely on reaction. Because when you cannot predict someone's reaction, you cannot control them. And when you cannot control them, you begin to feel uncertain. That uncertainty is where respect begins to form. What most people call strength is often just noise. What most people call intelligence is often just speed. But real strength is measured in restraint, and real intelligence is revealed in control. And once you understand this, you begin to see every impulsive reaction around you differently, not as power, but as exposure. The Stoic paradox, appearing weak to become unbreakable. There is a moment that most people cannot endure. A moment where you are expected to react, to defend yourself, to prove that you are not weak. And when you choose not to, something uncomfortable happens. People begin to doubt you. They question your strength. They assume you lack presence, that you are unable to stand your ground. And this is where the paradox begins, because what looks like weakness to the untrained eye is often the highest form of control. The Stoic does not rush to respond, not because he has nothing to say, but because he refuses to waste energy on what does not deserve it. He understands something most people ignore. Not every situation requires your voice. Not every challenge deserves your attention. Not every provocation is worth your reaction, and this restraint creates confusion. People expect patterns. They expect predictable behavior. When they provoke, they expect a response. When they push, they expect resistance. But when they are met with calm instead of reaction, they lose their reference point. They do not know how to interpret you, and what cannot be interpreted begins to feel dangerous. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations Book 4, paragraph 3 that if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. This means that the moment you stop assigning importance to every external stimulus, you reclaim control over your internal state. But most people cannot do this. They are driven by the need to respond, to correct, to defend their image. Their identity is fragile, so every challenge feels like a threat. And because of that, they become reactive, easy to provoke, easy to destabilize. The Stoic, on the other hand, builds something different. He builds an inner position that does not collapse under pressure. This is why he can appear passive in moments where others would explode, not because he is incapable, but because he is anchored. He does not need to prove himself in every interaction. He does not need validation from those who misunderstand him. He chooses silence, not out of fear, but out of clarity. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think strength is visible. They think it must be demonstrated, asserted, defended in real time. But true strength often operates in restraint. It shows itself in what you choose not to do. Not every insult deserves your anger. Not every misunderstanding deserves your explanation. Not every opponent deserves your engagement. And when you begin to live by this, something changes. You stop being pulled into unnecessary battles. You stop reacting to every emotional stimulus. You stop giving away your state of mind to people who are not in control of theirs. You become stable, and stability is rare. So rare that it is often mistaken for weakness by those who have never experienced it. But here's the truth they eventually discover. The one who does not react is not the weakest person in the room. He is the one who cannot be easily broken, because he is not controlled by circumstances. He is not controlled by other people. He is not controlled by emotion. He is controlled by choice. And that is a level of power most people will never understand until it is too late. The invisible test, how people measure you in silence. Every interaction you have is a test. Not an obvious one, not something announced, but something constant. People are always observing, always measuring, always trying to understand where you stand. And most of the time, they do not do it through your words. They do it through your reactions, a small provocation, a sarcastic comment, a moment of pressure. These are not random, they are signals. Subtle ways people use to see how much control you really have. They watch your face, your tone, your timing. They are asking one question without saying it. Can you be shaken? Most people fail this test without even realizing it exists. They react instantly. They defend themselves too quickly. They try to correct every misunderstanding, respond to every comment, prove their value in real time. And in doing so, they reveal something critical. They reveal that they can be moved. And the moment someone realizes they can move you emotionally, they understand they have influence over you. This is why losing control, even briefly, has a cost. Because authority is not built on what you say about yourself. It is built on how stable you remain when tested, and stability cannot be faked. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, Book 5, paragraph 20, that the mind can remain untouched by external disturbance if it chooses to stand firm within itself. This is not theory. This is a standard. Because when pressure comes, you either hold your ground or you reveal your limits. And people notice. They may not say it out loud, but they register it. They categorize you. They decide how far they can go with you, how much they can push, how seriously they should take you. All of this happens in silence. This is why calm is not just a personal virtue. It is a signal. When you remain composed under pressure, you send a message that cannot be ignored. You show that your internal state is not easily influenced, that your behavior is not dictated by others, that you are not reacting, you are choosing, and that changes how people treat you. Because unpredictability creates distance, and distance creates respect. If someone cannot predict how you will respond, they hesitate. If they cannot provoke you, they lose leverage. If they cannot read you, they begin to question themselves. And that hesitation is power. But there is something even deeper happening here. When you refuse to react impulsively, you are not just controlling the situation. You are redefining it. You are shifting the frame from emotional chaos to controlled awareness. And most people are not prepared to operate in that space. They rely on reaction. They depend on emotional feedback. They need to see your response to feel in control. And when that response does not come, they lose balance. This is why silence can be more disruptive than words. Because words give people something to respond to. Silence forces them to face themselves. And very few are comfortable with that. So they test you again and again, in different ways, in different moments, not because they hate you, but because they are trying to understand you. And each time you remain calm, you pass a test they do not even know they are giving. You show them that you are not easily shaken. You show them that you are not governed by impulse. You show them that your control is real. And over time, that creates something no argument can achieve. Authority without explanation. Marcus Aurelius and the inner discipline. There is a level of control most people talk about, but very few actually reach. Not because it is impossible, but because it requires something uncomfortable. Discipline over what you feel, not just over what you do. Marcus Aurelius did not write about calm as a personality trait. He wrote about it as a responsibility. In Meditations, Book 6, Paragraph 8, he reminds himself that the mind becomes what it repeatedly focuses on. This means your reactions are not accidents. They are trained patterns. And most people have trained themselves to lose control. They believe their emotions are justified, that their anger is necessary, that their immediate reaction is honest. But honesty without discipline is just exposure. It is the inability to govern yourself in moments that demand control. The Stoic understands something deeper. You do not control what happens. You do not control what people say. You do not control how others behave. But you always control how you process it, how you interpret it, and how you choose to respond. This is where inner discipline begins. It begins the moment you stop asking why something happened and start asking how you will deal with it. It begins when you realize that reacting is easy, but remaining composed requires strength. And strength is built in silence. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 11, Paragraph 18, that when someone does you wrong, the first thing to consider is what belief led them to act that way. Not to excuse them, but to understand the situation without being consumed by it. This changes everything. Because when you understand instead of react, you create distance between the event and your response. And in that distance, you gain control. Most people collapse that space. They feel something, and they act immediately. There is no pause, no reflection, no awareness, just impulse. But the Stoic inserts a barrier, a moment of awareness that interrupts the automatic response. That moment is where discipline lives, and the more you train it, the stronger it becomes. You begin to notice your emotions without being controlled by them. You feel anger, but you do not become it. You feel pressure, but you do not rush to escape it. You feel the urge to respond, but you choose whether or not that response is necessary. This is not suppression. This is mastery, because suppression hides emotion, but mastery transforms your relationship with it. You are no longer a passenger reacting to every stimulus. You are the one deciding which thoughts deserve action. And this is why calm is not passive. It is active control. It is the result of constant internal discipline, the ability to hold your state when everything around you tries to pull you out of it. And once you develop this, something shifts in how you move through the world. You stop being affected by every opinion, every comment, every moment of tension. You stop giving importance to things that do not deserve your energy. You become selective, and selection is power, because the one who controls where their attention goes controls their life. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He did not aim to control the world around him. He aimed to remain stable within it. And that stability is what made him unshakable, even in the most chaotic conditions. This is the discipline most people avoid, because it demands that you take full responsibility for your inner state. No excuses, no blame, no external justification, only control. And once you understand this, you realize that staying calm is not about appearing composed. It is about becoming someone who cannot be easily disturbed. The power of not reacting. The strategy that confuses and dominates. There is a moment in every conflict where the outcome is decided, and most people never see it. It is not when voices rise. It is not when arguments are made. It happens earlier, in the instant where one person reacts and the other does not. That is where the imbalance begins, because the person who reacts first gives something away. They reveal urgency. They reveal emotional investment. They reveal that something in that moment has control over them. And the one who notices this gains an advantage that cannot be easily reversed. The absence of reaction creates a disruption. People expect resistance. They expect defense. They expect you to meet them at the same emotional level. But when that does not happen, they lose their footing. The rhythm of the interaction breaks. The script they were following no longer works. And in that gap, uncertainty appears. Uncertainty is uncomfortable. It forces people to question their position, their approach, their assumptions. And when someone becomes uncertain, they become less effective. This is why not reacting is not passive. It is strategic. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 4, paragraph 49, that the best way to protect yourself from harm is to refuse to be like those who act without reason. This is not about avoiding confrontation. It is about refusing to engage on a level that weakens your position. When you do not react, you remain in control of timing. And timing is everything. The one who controls when to speak, when to move, when to respond, dictates the flow of the situation. While others rush, you choose. While others expose themselves, you observe. While others try to win immediately, you position yourself for a better outcome. This creates a silent dominance. Not loud, not aggressive, but undeniable. Because control is not proven through force, it is proven through restraint. And restraint forces the other person to carry the weight of the interaction alone. They begin to speak more, to explain more, to justify themselves. They try to fill the silence you created. And in doing so, they reveal even more of their position. Their intentions become clearer. Their weaknesses become visible. Their strategy becomes predictable. All because you did not react. This is where the shift happens. You move from being part of the situation to understanding it from above. You are no longer caught in the emotional current. You are observing the entire structure of the interaction. And from that position, you have options. You can choose to respond with precision. You can choose to disengage completely. You can choose to act at the exact moment it will have the most impact. But none of this is possible if you react impulsively, because reaction traps you inside the moment. It narrows your perspective. It limits your ability to see beyond what is happening right in front of you. Calm expands that perspective. It gives you space, and space gives you control. This is why those who rely on reaction often feel threatened by those who remain composed. They sense that something is happening outside their reach, that the person in front of them is not playing the same game. And they are right, because the one who does not react is no longer trying to win the moment. He is controlling it. The hidden danger, when calm is underestimated. There is a cost to being calm that most people do not talk about. You will be underestimated. People will look at your silence and assume you lack presence. They will interpret your restraint as hesitation. They will believe that because you do not react, you do not see, you do not understand, you do not have the capacity to respond. And this misjudgment can feel uncomfortable at first, because part of you will want to correct them, to prove that you are not weak, to show that you are aware, capable, and in control. The urge to clarify your position will rise, especially when others begin to define you incorrectly. But this is where discipline is tested again. Because the moment you feel the need to prove yourself to those who have already misread you, you begin to lower your position to their level of perception. And that is the real danger. Not being underestimated, but reacting to it. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 7, paragraph 15, that it is foolish to expect others to understand you perfectly, and even more foolish to be disturbed when they do not. This is a reminder that control is not about managing how others see you, but about remaining stable regardless of their interpretation. And most people fail here. They cannot tolerate being misunderstood. They rush to explain, to defend, to correct every false assumption. They try to control their image in the eyes of others, and in doing so, they lose control of themselves. Because the need for validation is a form of dependency, and dependency weakens your position. The calm individual learns to operate differently. He understands that being underestimated can be an advantage, because when people think you are less capable than you are, they lower their guard. They reveal more. They act with less caution. They assume they understand you, and in that assumption, they stop observing carefully. This creates space. Space to analyze, space to position, space to act without interference. Those who speak less are often noticed less, and those who are noticed less are often underestimated. But within that underestimation lies freedom. Freedom from constant scrutiny. freedom from unnecessary expectations, freedom to move with precision instead of pressure. And this is where the advantage becomes clear. While others are busy maintaining an image, you are building substance. While they are trying to appear strong, you are becoming stable. While they are reacting to protect how they are seen, you are observing how they truly behave. And over time, this difference becomes impossible to ignore, because reality eventually exposes everyone. The one who relied on appearance will be revealed in moments of pressure. Their reactions will betray them. Their instability will surface. But the one who built control in silence will remain consistent. And consistency creates trust. Not the kind of trust that comes from words, but the kind that comes from repeated behavior. The kind that makes people recognize, even if they cannot explain it, that you are not easily shaken, that you do not need to prove yourself, that you do not react like the rest. And this realization changes how they see you. Not immediately, but inevitably, because over time people begin to notice patterns. They begin to compare. They begin to understand that the one they underestimated was not weak. He was disciplined. And discipline is not visible at first glance, but once it reveals itself, it cannot be ignored. The difference between calm and weakness, absolute clarity. At some point, you must face a critical question. If you do not react, if you remain calm, how do you avoid becoming passive? How do you ensure that your silence is not mistaken for submission? Because there is a line, a precise, often invisible line between control and avoidance. And if you do not understand it, you risk turning discipline into weakness. Calm is not the absence of action. It is the absence of impulsive action. This is where most people fail to see the distinction. They believe that if you do not respond immediately, you are accepting what is happening. They think that if you do not defend yourself in the moment, you are incapable of doing so. But this is a shallow interpretation of behavior driven by urgency, not by understanding. The Stoic does not ignore reality. He studies it. He does not suppress his ability to act. He refines when and how to act. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 3, Paragraph 4, that you must not act as if you had 10,000 years to live, but at the same time, you must not allow urgency to push you into actions that lack reason. This balance is what separates controlled action from emotional reaction. Weakness avoids confrontation because it fears the outcome. Calm delays confrontation until it becomes effective. Weakness stays silent because it feels inferior. Calm stays silent because it does not need to speak yet. Weakness collapses under pressure. Calm absorbs pressure without losing structure. These are not the same thing. And if you confuse them, you will either become reactive to prove strength or passive to avoid discomfort. Both positions lead to the same result. Loss of control. True control operates differently. It allows you to remain composed in the moment without losing the capacity to act when necessary. It gives you the ability to hold your position without being pulled into unnecessary exchanges, while still maintaining the authority to intervene when the situation demands it. And that moment always comes, because there are situations where silence is no longer the correct choice. There are moments where clarity must be expressed, where boundaries must be established, where action becomes necessary. The difference is timing. The reactive person acts when emotion demands it. The controlled person acts when it is effective. This is why calm should never be confused with passivity. Passivity avoids responsibility. Calm prepares for precise responsibility. When you understand this, something shifts in your posture. You no longer feel the need to respond to everything. You no longer feel pressured to prove yourself in real time. You stop engaging in unnecessary exchanges that drain your energy without producing results. You begin to operate with intention, and intention changes everything. Because when you finally choose to act, your action carries weight. It is not diluted by constant reaction. It is not lost in noise. It stands out. People notice, not because you spoke more, but because you spoke when it mattered. And this is what creates real presence, not constant expression, but controlled expression. And once you reach this level of clarity, you stop asking how to appear strong. You start becoming someone who is. The mental training. How to develop this calm in practice. Control is not something you decide to have in the moment of pressure. It is something you build long before the pressure arrives. This is where most people misunderstand calm. They think it is a personality trait, something you either have or you do not. But calm is not given. It is trained. And the training happens in small, almost invisible moments. It starts with a simple interruption. The moment you feel the impulse to react, you pause. Not for long. A few seconds is enough. But in those seconds, something critical happens. You break the automatic pattern. You create distance between what you feel and what you do. That distance is where control begins. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 8, paragraph 36, that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is not an abstract idea. It is a practical instruction, because the moment you realize that your reaction is a choice, even when it feels automatic, you begin to reclaim control. But awareness alone is not enough. You must train your attention. Most people do not observe their emotions. They become them. The moment anger appears, they speak as anger. The moment frustration rises, they act as frustration. There is no separation between the feeling and the action. Training creates that separation. You begin to notice the emotion as it forms. You recognize the physical signals, the tension in your body, the urge to respond, the shift in your breathing, and instead of following it blindly, you watch it. This is uncomfortable at first, because it feels like holding back, like denying what you want to say. But over time, you realize you are not losing anything. You are gaining clarity. The emotion passes, and what remains is your ability to decide. This is the second layer of training. Redirecting your energy. Instead of investing your attention in the trigger, you move it to the outcome. You ask a different question. Not what do I feel right now, but what is the most effective response in this situation? This shift changes your entire behavior. Because effectiveness is not emotional, it is strategic. And strategy requires clarity. The more you practice this, the faster it becomes. The pause becomes natural. The observation becomes automatic. The decision becomes precise. You stop reacting to every stimulus. You start selecting your responses. And selection is what creates control. But there is one more layer. Consistency. You cannot practice this only in moments of high pressure. You must train it in everyday situations, in small irritations, in minor inconveniences, in conversations that test your patience. Because if you cannot control yourself in small moments, you will not control yourself in critical ones. This is how discipline is built. Repetition, not dramatic change, not sudden transformation, but repeated choices made with awareness. And over time, something shifts inside you. The same situations that once triggered immediate reactions no longer have the same effect. The same words that once disturbed you lose their weight. The same pressure that once forced you to respond now becomes something you can observe without losing your position. You become stable, not because the world changed, but because you did. And this is the real training. Not learning how to appear calm, but becoming someone who does not lose control. The silent respect. How your presence changes without you saying a word. There is a moment in your evolution where something subtle begins to happen, and you may not notice it at first. People start treating you differently, not because you became louder, not because you became more aggressive, not because you started proving anything, but because your presence stopped reacting to everything around you. And that changes perception. At first, they may still test you. They may still expect the old version of you. The one who explained too much, the one who defended too quickly, the one who reacted emotionally when challenged. But something is no longer there. The predictability is gone. And when predictability disappears, attention increases. People begin to observe more carefully. They pay closer attention to how you respond, when you speak, what you choose to ignore. Because silence, when it is controlled, creates curiosity. And curiosity creates respect, even before understanding. This is the paradox most people miss. You do not earn respect by demanding it. You earn it by becoming difficult to disturb. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 4, Paragraph 7, that a man's worth is measured by the quality of his thoughts, not the noise of his actions. This reflects a deeper truth. Presence is not about volume. It is about stability. And stability is felt, not explained. When you remain calm in situations where others lose control, you begin to occupy a different space in people's perception. They may not consciously admit it, but internally they register that you are not easily shaken, that you are not easily pulled into emotional chaos, that your reactions are measured, not impulsive, and that creates a shift in how they approach you. They begin to choose their words more carefully. They begin to hesitate before provoking. They begin to reconsider how far they can go. Not because you imposed fear, but because you demonstrated control. And control always changes the dynamic. The more you embody this, the less you need to explain yourself. Your presence starts speaking before your words do. Your silence starts carrying weight. Your restraint starts communicating strength. This is where respect becomes silent, not declared, not requested, but naturally formed through consistency. And consistency is what most people underestimate. Anyone can act composed once. Anyone can stay calm in a single moment of pressure. But very few can maintain that behavior over time, across different situations, under different forms of tension. When you do, people begin to adjust their expectations of you. They stop seeing you as reactive. They start seeing you as stable. And stability is rare enough to be recognized, even by those who do not fully understand it. What begins as misinterpretation eventually turns into acknowledgement, not because you changed who you are to fit their perception, but because your behavior remained consistent long enough to reshape it. And that is how silent respect is built, not through explanation, but through repetition of control. The decisive moment when you finally act. There is a misunderstanding people carry for a long time when they observe someone who stays calm. They assume that calm means hesitation, that silence means incapacity, that restraint means the absence of strength, but they are only seeing the surface. Because there comes a moment where everything becomes clear, a moment where silence is no longer about observation, but about decision. And when that moment arrives, something changes in the energy of the calm individual. It is no longer passive, it becomes deliberate. The Stoic does not react quickly, but he is never disconnected from reality. He is aware. He is calculating. He is observing the full structure of the situation, while others are trapped inside their emotions. And when the decision is made, it is not emotional. It is precise. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 9, Paragraph 6, that the obstacle on the path becomes the path itself. This means that action is not about avoiding pressure, but about responding to it with clarity when the time is right. And this is where most people fail to understand the difference. They think calm people avoid confrontation. In reality, they simply do not waste energy on unnecessary confrontation. But when action is required, there is no confusion, no hesitation, no emotional distortion, because nothing is being suppressed. Everything is being directed. The reaction-driven person acts immediately, but loses control of timing. The calm person delays action, but gains control over impact. And impact is what actually defines outcomes. When the Stoic finally acts, it is not loud out of insecurity. It is not rushed out of emotion. It is not defensive out of fear. It is clean. It is intentional. And because of that, it carries weight. People notice the difference immediately, not because of volume, but because of precision. There is no wasted movement, no unnecessary explanation, no emotional overflow, just the exact action required. At the exact moment it becomes effective. And that contrast is powerful, because it reveals something most people do not expect, that the calm individual was never passive. He was waiting for alignment, and when alignment arrives, action becomes unavoidable. This is where respect solidifies into certainty. People stop questioning your silence. They stop misreading your calm. because they now understand that your restraint was not absence of power, but control over it. And control, when revealed through action, is far more impactful than constant reaction. But there is something even deeper happening here. When you act from calm instead of emotion, you do not regret your decisions later. You do not revisit them with doubt. You do not question whether you overreacted or underreacted, because your action was not a reaction. It was a choice. And choice is where responsibility becomes power. This is the moment where everything converges. The silence, the observation, the restraint, all of it leads to this point. Not to prove anything to others, but to express clarity when it matters most. And those who understand this never confuse you again, because they have seen the difference between noise and precision. And once someone experiences precision, they no longer value chaos. The truth most people never understand. At the end of everything, there is a simple truth that most people never fully grasp. It is not the loudest voice that defines strength. It is not the fastest reaction that defines intelligence. And it is not the most emotional response that defines presence. It is control. Control over what you say. Control over what you feel. Control over what you choose to engage with and what you choose to ignore. Because life will constantly try to pull you into reaction. People will provoke you. Situations will pressure you. Words will challenge you. And in every one of these moments, you will be tested without even realizing it. Not on what you know, but on what you can restrain. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 12, Paragraph 1, that nothing has power over the mind unless it allows it. This is the final layer of understanding. External events do not define your state. Your interpretation does. And interpretation is a choice. This is why staying calm is not a passive act. It is an active form of discipline. It is a constant decision to remain above emotional noise, even when everything around you tries to pull you into it. Most people misunderstand this completely. They think calmness is weakness because it does not demand attention. It does not fight for recognition. It does not react to every insult or challenge. But what they fail to see is that calmness is not absence of power. It is control of it. And control does not need to prove itself in every moment. Over time, something becomes clear. Those who react to everything burn out quickly. They lose clarity. They lose direction. They become predictable in their emotions. But those who master their responses become stable, focused, and difficult to disturb. And stability is what people ultimately respect, even if they do not understand why. Because stability signals something deeper. It signals discipline. And discipline is what separates those who are controlled by their environment from those who control their internal state, regardless of it. So when people misread your calm, when they mistake your silence for ignorance, when they assume your restraint is weakness, they are not seeing the truth. They are seeing their own lack of control reflected back at them. And that is the final understanding. Staying calm does not make you a fool. It reveals who still is. Because in a world addicted to reaction, the one who learns to remain still has already stepped outside the chaos everyone else is trapped in.